country. Why are you staying here? Young 10-year-old, very intelligent-looking young lady, a black young lady, who will not stand for the Pledge of Allegiance in her classroom. She doesn't want to stand up because apparently she believes that black Americans need a lot more to be done in this country. You know what I believe, Cornell? And I know you supported her publicly. I think at 10 years old, she has no real understanding of what America is. So I wonder if her parents have sat her down and explained what Americans have given their lives, white, black, red. It doesn't make any difference. They stood and they fought and they died for this country, and she doesn't want to do anything to honor them?
Matt, she comes from a family of military service members. Her father's is a retired military service member also, who served this nation well with great dignity.
Good.
Her mother's a very intelligent woman. What white people need to understand...
Just white people?
Yes, please, let me explain. That national anthem was written by Francis Scott Key, a slave owner.
Oh, here we go.
Who demonized and hated black slaves and black people. Go research the third verse where he says there's no refuge in this country for the...
Yeah, where the third verse where they talked about killing blacks before the third verse was finally removed from the national anthem. And it took them many years, many moons to remove that. Welcome to another episode, everyone. Please subscribe to the channel if you have not done so. This is Brother Cornell X, who was doing a lot of interviews and chastising these individuals. This individual here, this white man, says that black Americans are illegal in the USA, and he doesn't like immigrants either and is talking bad about them. But this individual here is standing up for the immigrants and people of color around the world. Let's continue.
Or the slave, both should be turmoil to the grave.
How's her parents doing?
This is a man
Are they successful?
that promised turmoil for black people to the grave. Would you ask Jewish children to say a pledge to a German anthem that disrespects Jewish people?
If they're
No, you
living
would
in
not.
Germany,
No,
sure.
you would not.
Well, sure.
That disrespects Jewish people?
Then
No,
why?
you would not.
You certainly can kneel down. In America, you have the right to do that.
America looked at the same way at Rosa Parks when she refused to get up and give up her seat to a white man on the bus. But history vindicated her. History vindicated her. America demonized Harriet Tubman for freeing slaves from slavery, but history vindicated her. So I say to that young girl, you stand strong, stand up, and stand for what you believe in. And to all of those who are too coward to do it, don't get in that young girl's way. Others like her, support that young girl.
What would you like her to say to the men and women who have fought for this country like I ran into over the weekend? The black men and women who fought for this country, and some who gave their lives.
And ask the black men and women who served America in its military, like in the Independence War. We helped America get it, and we were still slaves afterwards. Ask those in Vietnam who gave their war on Vietnam battlefields, but then came back and was called niggers in their own country. We have fought in America's war, and we've never been given the justice and the due process of everybody else in this nation.
Then
so
why don't you?
They always want to refer to the military and go to the military as if black people have not fought in the military as patriots. Black people have defended this country in every war that America has had. Did you know that black men came back from the war and were hanged in their military gear, in their military uniforms? They were hanging. They went over there, served the country, and when they came back, they knew that they were military because they were in their military garb, and they still lynched them. So I don't want to hear anything. This is their go-to all the time, the military. But black people have fought in the military as well and fought in every war that this country has started, and they started every one of them for money.
To a different country. Why are you staying here if you don't like it?
Let me tell you why. Because the country belongs to Indians. You white folks stole it from them, raped and robbed their people. This not your country. You all came over here and stole it and beat the hell out of them. So this not your country.
It was my country.
You all need to go home.
If you're
you all need to go back where you came from.
If you don't like it, why don't you pack up and go?
Let the Indians decide who should pack up and go. And I guarantee you black folks will stay, and you all will be on the first damn boat leaving here. So don't try that, brother. You You all didn't make America. This is not your country.
What you should do is sit down with someone who has fought for this country, Quanell. Get their opinion, too.
Tons of black people have, and what have we gotten from it?
Got anything from it. That's what we've gotten from it. Nothing. And they're quick to say, go back. If you don't like the country, leave the country. Why would we leave a country that we built? You do understand that these individuals are immigrants. They migrated from Europe. They were not here in this country first. They just think that they're the indigenous people and that this is their country. They stole it. They took it by force, brutal force. Millions upon millions of horrific murders is what got them the power in this country. This is not their native land. Always trying to tell somebody to go back and get out of here. What are you talking about? This is not your land either. America is a melting pot that really belongs to everyone at this point. Certainly doesn't belong to any particular group. And that's the bottom line. Let's continue.
And historically, why a little black child may not want to stand up for the Pledge of Allegiance, or the national anthem for that matter. He explained how the man who wrote that anthem was a slave owner who despised black people. He explained how black soldiers fought, bled, and then came home to a country that still called them slurs, still denied them the same freedoms they went and fought for those white people to have. He explained that freedom in America has always come with an asterisk for us. And so what did that white man do? He interrupted, he overtalked, he continued to dodge accountability, and then he pulled the oldest card in the book. Well, if you don't like it, why don't you just leave? And that question right there is the tell. Because white Americans cannot fathom why black and brown people will criticize a country that we still stay in. And that is because white Americans' nationalism is their identity, not principles. See, black, brown, and indigenous people have peoplehood. We have lineage, we have memory, we have culture that's older than the American flag. Our identity exists with or without America. And white Americans don't have that. Because remember, most of them were not nobles, they were not royalty, they were Europe's cast-offs, criminals, rapists, debtors, and the violently poor that were exported to stolen land. The society that put them on the bottom of the hierarchy rid themselves of them and then shipped them here where they built up a hierarchy that put them at the top. They invented whiteness to cling to. They invented something that gave them a sense of identity, something they could invent that made them think they were superior, and indoctrinated everyone else by threat of violence and force and death to believe that what they were inventing was true. They wrapped their entire self-worth in a nation that they felt that they could finally dominate. And that is why they cling to that flag, to the anthems, to the pledge, because that's all they have. So when we say, hey, this country harms us, they don't hear a call to repair. They instead hear a threat to their identity. When Quanell told him all the reasons why black people believe that we should not have to stand up for an anthem or pledge our allegiance to a country that's never put us anywhere but at the bottom, that white man said, well, then why don't you leave? Because they hear a threat to their identity, that's why the solution is always for us to leave. But here's the part they choke on, just like Quanell said. This country ain't theirs. This country was stolen from indigenous people, built by enslaved Africans, and maintained by exploited labor. We didn't come here chasing some dream. Our ancestors were brought here in chains. So don't ask us why we stay. Ask yourselves why you won't leave. I believe they will not leave because deep down they know that this nation, this country, this America is the only thing standing between them and finding out who they really are, the type of people they really come from. And that's why a black child choosing to sit down for the Pledge of Allegiance threatens you, terrifies you, because it's not disrespectful, it's honest. Black people's relationship with white people in America has been one of narcissistic abuse, and it's just like a narcissist to say, don't talk about all the ways in which I hurt you. Congratulate me for giving you the smallest bit. Tell me how great I am. Don't look too closely about the wrongs I've done because that didn't happen. Just like a narcissist.
Why don't you move to a different country? Why are you staying here? young.
Tell me why they ask us, why don't we leave when they brought us here, right? I didn't ride over here on a boat because we wanted to. Our family was brought here out of no goodwill and used as slaves. And on top of that, to this day, people still fight like this white man on the screen talking about how, well, why don't you leave? Well, why don't we all stop the hate? Because that's all this is. To have any kind of disregard for a different race, you purely and basically are saying, I'm dumb. Because what do you mean? Different cultures are beautiful. Different ethnicities are beautiful. Even the white people.
Defends Mexicans and Native Americans.
I told everybody that I'm in remission. I am cancer free. And I want to thank everybody that has prayed for me, that has come up to me and been so kind to me. And you know what? The Immigrant Free Day. I think about these individuals. You know something? When you do what I did, when you work hard, when you do what you're told, when you go where you're supposed to go, and you pray to God, then good things happen. If one day you decide you're going to do none of those things, then what may happen?
That's not true. That's not what happened to Emmett Till. That's not what happened to Rasheem Carter. That's not what happened to Mike Brown and George Floyd. They're doing well, minding their own business, children of God. Some of them were employed and had jobs and had families and just walking down the street and not bothering anyone, but still lost their life to the cancer that is racism in this country. So they always go back to this, point to Oprah and say, stop complaining. You guys can make it. Look at Oprah. Look at Denzel Washington. They always point to one and never can point to the masses and the success of the masses to indicate any real progress in the country. They only can point to a couple of hand-picked individuals and say, if they can pull themselves up by their bootstraps, you can do the same thing. But this is just a really white supremacist talking point and narrative. You just have to be able to read through it.
Happen is exactly what happened to these so-called immigrants, many of them illegal, who decided not to go to work a particular day to somehow get across some kind of message. They get fired the next day. Welcome to America.
Matt, you know, I am happy that you're in remission. To God be the glory. But it is amazing how you could beat cancer and be in remission and your heart still be so cold and hard. It is amazing how you would speak that way about immigrants when you call them so-called immigrants. You're right, they're so-called immigrants.
Some are illegal.
Because they're only coming back home. Texas, Arizona, and California were stole from the Mexicans. So they're so-called immigrants because they're coming back home. And when you speak about if you work hard and do the right thing and be good to people, well, guess what? That's not the history or the legacy of your ancestors.
You got to come through the front door.
White folk didn't come through the front door. White folk kicked open the back door and killed everything else in between to conquer America.
Well, why do you,
they were not good to people that they met.
They
didn't show hospitality to the Indians.
You're trying to avoid what we're talking about.
They didn't do that. Here. They weren't hospitable.
You're trying to avoid what we're talking about here, and you're going to go back 200-300 years.
What I'm trying to do.
Why don't we talk about what's taking place over the weekend?
What I'm trying to do is try to tell white people like you, stop throwing rocks at the immigrants when you all live in a glass house. You all didn't come to America the right way or the godly way.
Yes, you do. You do the things the correct way. And in 2017, the correct thing to do is come through the front door. And these are people that snuck into this country. And so we're all supposed to allow that to happen? That's not how it works. You're not going to get what you're looking for. And you got to work. You got to come through the front door. I understand that.
I'm saying they should not have to sneak back into a territory that the legacy of that territory belonged to their own people. But let's just say for the sake of the law, they broke the law. Okay, I'll give you that. But at the end of the day, brother, where is the human compassion that the ancestors of Indians showed your community? You all won't show that to nobody else. But you want it all showed to you.
Let's stay in America. There was no America back, what you're talking about. You're taking something and trying to turn it into something that it's not.
Let's talk
about the rules and the laws that exist in the United States of America.
This is America, but America the beautiful has been America the ugly toward too many people of color. And all we want is the same thing you all enjoy, the complexion for the protection.
Well, I tell you what,
all got in America. We don't have that.
Do that when somebody crosses your property line and wants to come into your home and sit down in your living room and eat out of your refrigerator without ever asking you or without being a member of your family.
All the immigrants are not doing that. So stop that, brother. That's a hype, that's a lie, and it's racist, man.
It's not a hype. It's exactly what they want.
They're not all doing that.
He was talking bad about Mexicans, and he got put in his place.
Governor Greg Abbott wants to make sure that Houston, the city of Houston, is put under the same microscope as any city that isn't allowed legally to be the quote-unquote sanctuary city. And this is what we do here in the city of Houston. People come into the city of Houston illegally. They're allowed to stay. There is only so much that our law enforcement officers are willing to do, that the DEA is willing to do, that the border agents are willing to do. Why in the world don't we go after those that are here? Well, that's what Abbott wants to change, and I agree. And as soon as we make sure that in the state of Texas, if Houston keeps conducting itself the same way that San Antonio and other cities conduct themselves, then no money is coming to Houston from the state. We need to do that on a state level. We also need to do it on a federal level.
But Matt, my problem with this is, why are we so worried about getting rid of all of the Mexicans or Hispanics that are quote unquote here, if they're illegal or not? At the end of the day, many of them are paying taxes. Many of them have been here for generations and decades. And Matt, trying to get rid of 4 or 5 or 3 million people all at once is not going to work. We don't have the resources.
We don't have to do that.
And secondly, Matt, listen, there is no such thing as an illegal Mexican immigrant coming into Texas, because they're only coming home. Texas, Arizona, and California was stolen from the Mexicans.
Don't start
this
that now,
all
man.
belongs to them. So they're only coming home. And
don't start that. These people crazy. He said, don't start that. They don't want to hear it. I'm not going to say too much, man. I'm going to let these individuals talk it out. You know, I got into trouble last time, just the other day when I covered one of these videos, and someone got in the comments and said that I had hatred in my heart. I get it every time. Said I had hatred in my heart because Jane Elliott asked on the show when she was on Oprah, the video that I covered the other day, who wants revenge on white people or something? Raise your hand. That's what she asked to the audience. And I guess maybe I'll raise my hand. And dude said I was spazzing. A brother in the comments said I need to get rid of this hatred in my heart. Oh, man. Jeez. So I'll let them do the talking. But here we have a brother, that's Quanell X right there, supporting and defending immigrants and letting this individual know that Texas, Arizona, and California belong to the Hispanics first. This was their territory. And you all came over from Europe and took it. So why do you keep calling them immigrants and telling them to go back home? They are home. This is their land. This is not your land. This is theirs. This is crazy. This is crazy. Can't say the things I want to say. I'm not, it's all good. But my goodness, man, the audacity and unmitigated gall of some of these individuals is astounding.
then here it is, you white folks stole the land from the Indians, but yet you're the natural, real illegal immigrants.
So let's start with the things you said that are already wrong. First of all, they're coming here. They're not paying any taxes. You're telling me they're paying taxes? They're not paying taxes.
Matt,
nobody knows who the heck they are. No, they're not paying any taxes.
Matt, when they buy a product, they pay a tax on it.
Let's continue.
When they buy a car, they pay a tax on it.
You come into this country illegally. That is a law that you're breaking. And that's why they have to be sent back to wherever they came from. They want to come through the front door. that is the correct way to come in. And the city of Houston has to stop allowing this, or we're never going to get them to stop coming in here. Look, that's what we got to do. Follow the law.
But Matt, where is the compassion that the indigenous Indians had for white people in this country?
Why do you keep going backwards?
They let you all come in.
What are you going
and
backwards?
you came in and raised a whole lot of hell.
Don't start.
Trump
Don't start
called
bringing up
Mexicans
history and try and
rapists. He
explain
called
what's
them
going on
criminals.
today.
Trump called the Mexicans illegal criminals coming into America. Well, the biggest illegal criminal ever coming to America was white people.
So you don't give a damn if people break into this country?
I don't give a damn.
I wonder what's going to happen when they come and rob your
That's
house.
what you did.
About hypocrites who came here illegally and stole all of this and now want to blame them for only coming back home. To all of the Mexicans, don't worry about this. Just keep having babies, and in 30 years, all these white folks will be under your control.
To Americans, let's stand up and do what the hell we're supposed to do and stop letting the city of Houston be an open door. This ain't no sanctuary city.
Don't listen to that.
This is a real city.
Just keep having.
I think this is a fantastic law. It is time to start enforcing the laws that are on the books instead of the state and local officials legislating from their own little tiny offices.
It's an awful law because it's nothing more than a legal way for law enforcement to racially profile Mexicans and Hispanics. I would say to the Hispanic and Mexican community, what you got to do now, hook up with the black community and unite in political power, because if Mexicans and black people unite in Texas, we can control the governor, we can control the lieutenant governor, and we can control politics in Texas, period. I'm saying to Latino brothers and sisters, don't fight them by yourself. If you hook up with black people and we unite, I'm telling you, we can run Texas and then pass laws to deal with those who hate us.
You're advocating for criminal activity, Quanell. These people are not here lawfully. They need to do what our ancestors did, what many Mexicans have done.
No, wait a minute.
Many, don't interrupt me.
Your ancestors came here illegally. Wasn't nothing legal about your ancestors. They came illegally and they murdered, they raped, they pillaged a whole race of people. This country, Texas, Arizona, and California, belongs to the Mexicans.
Quanell, get back
it was
to the
stole from them.
You
so
tell
when
me
you
to
quote
get back
your
to the point.
ancestors, they came here illegally.
No, you're not being fair to me here. You say stay on topic. I say, okay, we'll stay on topic. And then as soon as we start talking about...
That is on topic. You just have no response to it. You have no answer. You never do, because it's the truth. That's their go-to. We've heard every one of them say it. Come through the front door. Come here legally. Do the right thing. Follow the law. When their whole existence has been breaking the law. And they came here illegally. And caused a lot of havoc. And killed a lot of people. And came into power by pure brutality. This is why they have the power that they have. There was nothing legal about it. To this day, the power that they have was obtained through brutal force. Understand that. This was not their, they came over here and usurped this country. This is not their country. They're from Europe. They were over there killing one another in Europe. And then migrated over here and started killing everyone over here. And claim the country as their own. Texas, Arizona, California already had Hispanic inhabitants when these individuals came. Indians were already over here when these individuals came. There's proof that black people were here in this country thousands of years ago. There's proof. But they always want to go back to, this is not your country. Go back to your country. Come over here legally when you didn't come over here legally, when this is not your country, when you need to go back to where you came from. How about that?
About illegal immigration.
Your ancestors.
You go back to the black issue. Let's stay on topic.
Your ancestors are the master illegal immigrants.
Give me the opportunity to respond in that, you know what? We're all Americans here. And if you are here legally, absolutely, then we need to come together and we need to pass good laws for enforcing the laws.
Well, perhaps the Native Americans should have passed laws against your ancestors.
When you try to
Got that right. Shout out to old girl right there, whoever she is. There you go. There you have it. Let me know what you think in the comments. That's Quanell X going around having interviews on Fox and such and having debates with individuals as we just seen. And these videos were from a few years ago, but the immigration crisis has gotten even worse. This is how they feel. They don't want them here, even though most of the immigrants voted for them, for the Republicans. These individuals are Republican, believe that. Even though they voted for them, they don't like them and don't want them here. And it's taking that individual there to go around and stand up for these individuals who are being victimized and ran out of the country in many ways. Even though these same immigrants are not standing up for us, and just like they did not stand up for Jasmine Crockett, even though she's been standing up for them for some time now. But to each his own. Let me know what you think in the comments. That individual there, Matt, needs to calm down and understand that he took this country. He's not native to this land. But they all seem to think that they are. It's just their arrogance and narcissism that leads them to this fallacy, because this is not their native land. They were not here first, second or third even. Knock it off. Stay safe and stay free, people.